to another edition of Today's History, Upper Ohio Valley. I'm Bob Connors, your host, and today we have a great guest for Belmont County Commissioner, it's Jerry?
Jack Regis.
Jack Regan. Correct?
Regis, R-E-G-I-S.
Regis, I got your name wrong here.
Thank you, thank you.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
I think the best way to start this is for you to introduce yourself.
I'm Jack Regis. I'm from Martins Ferry. I've been a lifelong resident of Martins Ferry, lifelong resident of Belmont County. I retired from Wheeling-Pittsburgh Steel after 37 years. And I went to work for the county as a facilities manager for another 17 years. I've been on council. I was mayor of Martins Ferry from 84 to 87. I was on council president. I'm still serving. I got 45 years in government. I got a little over 50 years involvement in the fire department and also emergency squad in Martins Ferry. I've been a wrestling official for 30 years. Very active. Between my wife and I, we have 4 children. We have 12 grandchildren and 1 great-granddaughter. I'm just always just a involved person. I just like being involved and doing things with people and for people.
Well, that's great. You live a pretty busy life.
Yes, I do.
That's great. I want to move on to what are the responsibilities basically when you become commissioner? What do you do as a commissioner when you go to work every day and you have things to do? What's the day made up of?
I think it's thinking. I mean, you're responsible for the budget for the county, for the entire county. You got to work with other departments, ensure they are operating, and you got to have a working relationship with each office out there. Mm-hmm. And doing that's how you run the county smoothly. Plus, you have with the county, the commissioners are in charge of the water department falls under them, so they're in charge of the operation there. Like buildings and grounds, what I told you, facilities manager, they're in charge of the operations there. So they have to ensure the buildings are taken care of and everything's done in those capacities.
Mm-hmm. What is do you think is the biggest concern of the people in this election cycle, Martins Ferry, the whole county? One
of the biggest things I see, and one of the biggest things that gave me a reason to run, is the transparency for the commissioner's office. They have their meetings. They have their work meetings on Monday morning. They go in for a work meeting. They talk over all their business, and with their session, the public's not there. When they come in the public on Wednesday morning, they have their meetings at 9 o'clock.
Is this the stuff that people are concerned about?
Yes. That's what they're telling me when I'm out. They want know a little bit more what's going on with the county. Mm-hmm. I mean, naturally they want jobs and you do what you have, but that's our responsibility to sponsor our Port Authority and the people we have in charge of going out and doing that work and enticing people to come in. That's their full-time job, and that's who it should be. Commissioners don't go out and work to bring business in. They work to get them what they need once they're in there. But you have those people in the Port Authority and those offices. It's their responsibility to go out and attract these businesses and get them in. So that's there. And the biggest thing there is to make sure we have a balanced budget, and yet taking care of people. I mean, taking care of all the needs for the county.
Okay. I want to move on to your campaign that you're running right now for commissioner. What's going on inside your campaign? Good, bad, and indifferent?
I feel it's pretty good. I mean, I'm getting a lot of good response from people. I mean, they're open. They greet me well. I mean, I haven't had any negativity at all. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's been pretty open. I mean, I know everybody's not going to love me, and I know I'm smart enough to know that I'm not going to get all the votes. But I feel confident in the way people greet me. I feel confident in the response I'm getting, and people reaching out to me. I mean, it feels really well that I got people calling me to come and see them and give them stuff. So it's just, it's feeling really good. I mean, I'm not going to get my hopes up real high, but yeah. I'm smart enough to know that I'm doing the best I can. And that's at the end of the day,
you can do, isn't it?
At the end of the day, that's all you can ask for. You put in 110%, and if it's not enough, then you just move on with life. I mean, yes, I want to win. I want to win bad. If I don't win, it won't be the end. I mean, tomorrow will come up, and I'll move on. So
Sun's going to come up no matter what.
you got that right. I'm going to move on, and I'm going to still be Jack Regis, and what you see is what you get.
Well, that's good. What I want to do now is talk about some general issues that are going on in the country,
Okay.
not necessarily Belmont County, but around the United States, just to get your views on it, what your thoughts are. So one of them is the southern border has so far over 5 million people have come across that border illegally in the last 2 years, and they're still coming. What do you see that as doing to the country, or for or against the country? How do you look at that?
I mean, I got mixed feelings there. I know when they always advertise our arms are open to bring people in, but it has to be controlled. I don't know if they'll ever find a way to control it. I know that President Trump tried to find a way to control it. Everybody says that President Biden is not doing enough, and it all goes back further. Those borders didn't open up in the last 10 years. It's been a problem ongoing. I can see it hurting our people's employment. I know they said that they all along talk about their vote. These people are legal citizens and they're voting. I don't know how, because I mean, I went in to vote yesterday. You got to give your driver's license. You got to recite everything off of it. You got to confirm your address and everything. I just don't see how you do it. But if they are doing it, that stuff's got to be stopped. So they got to get control of it. I don't have the answer. If I had the answer, I'd probably be in Washington instead of Belmont County. But I know it's a problem, and it continues to grow.
Yeah, I agree with you that it's been going on for way too long.
Yes.
In addition to that, something interesting happened in the news, that the federal government is spending $90 million a year giving these people cell phones. What are your thoughts on that?
My problem is, how can you help people that says the cell phone that's a crazy thing to me. My first thing is, how can you do that and you have veterans that went over and fought in our wars coming back living on the streets?
Yeah.
How can the government I don't care what party you're at, set in Washington and support things like that, whoever's doing it, and you got our people, we got people not eating in this, children not eating in this country that are our citizens. You got our veterans, like I said, go out and fight in our wars, and they're coming back living off the streets. I don't agree with it. There's got to, I don't know how you get a handle on it, but there's got to be a handle on it because it's not right.
No, it's not right. It's a lot of money because not only is it $90 million a year for phones, somebody's got to pay the bills for the phone bill, and that's the government too.
Yes.
So that money could certainly be going to better places,
for a lot more better
citizens.
places than that.
No, I agree with that. There's another interesting thing that just recently hit the news, and the Chinese government has set up 54 police service stations worldwide where they carry out work for the Chinese government, basically the Communist Party. One of them is in New York City. So what do you think about the idea that Chinese policemen are working and have an office in America on our soil?
I don't know a whole lot about it. I don't know a whole lot about that subject. But my gut feeling for that is I don't agree with it. I don't think they should be. I know we should try to get along, but that's going a little bit too far. I don't think they should be here doing that, and I just don't think the United States should be open to that.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it's about China's. I may get this pronunciation wrong. Fuzhou Police is what they're called, and they're here looking for Chinese people who are wanted by the Chinese, and they're coercing them and sending them to China to go to trial and be put in jail or never be seen again. And it's been reported in numerous newspapers that Western Journal, New York Post, a number of them, that 150,000 of these people have been sent back there by these police people. Do you have any thoughts on that? That seems to me blows my mind.
I don't think that's not definitely right. I mean, I think they should be able to. The United States should have control over what they can do and how they can extradite these people, and what they can do. I mean, they got to be looking at this. I mean, I could see if you had a couple, but you said 150,000 have been taken back to China and put through the trials and never seen. You know, at some point, if that happens up front and you have knowledge of it, you should be stopping it now and controlling it and helping these people, because I don't care if they're citizens or how they're here, they shouldn't be taken back and be treated unfairly.
Yeah, well, I agree. I think it's they have no business sending anybody back there,
no,
or chasing them. They're basically scaring them back there.
I mean,
they're not using a legal process. They're just contacting them and saying, "You get back to China."
And if they're over here working, they should have to work under the overseeing of the United States, either the FBI or U.S. Marshals or something. Somebody should be overseeing how they're working in our country.
I agree with you. That's it's just mind-boggling to me that it's not happening.
Yes, how they can let that go and not do something with it. Yes.
Yeah, I don't get it. Just one other point. Generally speaking, when you look around the United States right now, what things do you see happening, taking place in our country?
I just see a great big divide in our country right now. It's worse than I've ever seen it in my life. I mean, I can remember growing up that you had the different parties, but they were. This is going to sound a simple way of putting it, but the people are everybody that's in office now think they're elected by the party to serve the party.
Right.
And they forgot they're elected by the people to serve the people. And I think that should be, we should get back to that, where they're worrying about the people. Whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent,
right,
you work together for the betterment of the people. And that's what it should be. And that's not done anymore. No. They spend so much time in Washington fighting. I mean, for goodness gracious, they spent all this time in Washington fighting over this January 6th ordeal. I mean, how much money they spent on that and going
millions
to it. Either do something or quit. Don't keep dragging it out. Either get to the point and indict whoever you're going to, or let it go, because all they're doing is spending money, having hearings, and just going over and over again. And where if they would work together, they'd be using that money for something constructive, I think.
I agree. That might be one of the reasons why the government's spending too much money, because they're wasting their time on stuff like that.
Oh yeah, they're doing stuff like that, and then they sit and fight, and they sit and fight over the votes. I mean, they got to go right down party lines. I mean, my goodness. I mean, some things they got to look at the people's needs and quit and divide and get that wall broke down in Washington, because it's tearing up our country. I mean, our country is suffering for them fighting in Washington. Yeah. And someday the people are going to wake up and change everything.
Yep, I agree with you. Well, that's about all I have for you, and you've done a good job. So thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
I will see you next time. Hopefully we'll do this again sometime.
I look forward to it.
And thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.